These are some of the things I really wish I learned early on in order for me to leverage credit in order to build wealth. I really hope that you're going to be able to take from my experiences and see how you can apply it to your own life, your own things that you have going on right now in order for you to build your wealth. So in 2019 is when I acquired my real estate property. Me thinking that I can possibly get to the 800 credit score once I did the acquisition, keep making the monthly recurring payments. Everything is on time, but guess what? That did not help. It actually gave me a little bit of dent. I was around the 750 point scores when I actually did purchase this acquisition, and I did use quite a bit of credit to do a lot of the purchases at first. But one thing after the other led me to be able to leverage more and more things, because I was trying to as much not use as much of my cash because I didn't have as much. If you do the acquisition, you purchase a property, you're doing some repairs, you want to make sure you have cash handy. So the first thing I did was I got some cards, because I remember I was trying to buy like stoves, refrigerators, right? And I called up the homie. He said, yeah, I'll give you all these for a couple $1,000s. I was like, all right, cool. But really and truly, I could have got them from Best Buy. And using Best Buy, you could apply for their card and purchase these things and pay it off over the course of 18 months, sometimes 24 months or 12 months. So you're allowed to now get the best quality product that you can get, retain your cash, and be able to use that credit. It does hurt your credit a little bit at first when you do that first purchase, but one thing you can do is as you making more and more payments, ask them for a credit limit increase. And I think they allow you to do that every 6 months. And this applies for any card that you are able to get. So that was like my first experience, is just being able to get that Best Buy card after I bought 4 items from a homie, and one of them did not work. 3 of them, luckily, blessedly, actually worked. So instead of you trying to get the products from the homie, get it at the legit store, get the card, interest free for the 18, 24 months, 12 months, whatever is more comfortable to you, and purchase them accordingly. The next thing was Home Depot. So I was going inside of Home Depot buying things with my credit card as usual as well. But I discovered the same thing. They give you these promotional periods for 6 months, 12 months, right? If you purchase over $300 or more of products. So when I first applied for the card, they only gave me a $5,000 limit. Fast forward right now in 2023, I have a $30,000 limit with Home Depot. And they slowly built that up. I went from 5 to 10 to 15, 20, 25, and then finally got to 30. And I'm sure I can push further more, but they required me to provide some type of letter for me to actually be able to do that. So that was one thing. The next thing that was really much of a hurdle, because I was kind of tight on cash, was when I had to rewire the house. So the first electrician that I got, he was willing to do this on the credit card. I was like, bam, all right, perfect. We could do this on the credit card. The problem is the job was going to cost $10,000 to $15,000, right? And this is just the labor alone. I was expected to supply my own materials. So I got my Home Depot card all set up and everything, and I also had set up a card with Lowe's because they had the same pretty much deal. So I knew that I was able to get all the supplies paid off interest free for 12, 18 months. However, the labor costs, there's just no way around that. But he was willing to accept credit card as a form of payment for his labor. So how can you do that, right? It's like, dang, but you're gonna charge me like 10 grand or $15,000 for the whole job. But blessedly, right, these companies, right, Chase, Bank of America, they're continuously sending you these promotional period of time. They'll be like, yeah, we'll give you 12, 18 months, 0% APR for those time period, promotional period. And you just got to make the minimum payment every month so that way you don't incur any fee. So I took the bait and I said, I'm going to try to do that. So I signed up with Bank of America. It was a $20,000 limit, right? So I did a $10,000 transaction on there to purchase, to pay for his labor initially. And he started doing the job and everything started going a bit smoothly, and then things started getting tardy. Him being a bit lateness, he had so much other jobs going on, and he miscalculated exactly the expected things that I needed for him to do. So a lesson learned from that experience. However, the card experience was pretty good because now I had 12 months for me to kind of fix all that from happening. And when I tell you that came in at perfect time, it came in at perfect time, because literally after I had him start the job, right? This is the end of 2020. COVID was already here. He started working on the job 2021. I got laid off, right? So imagine if I had to make those regular monthly payments and I used my own cash to be able to do that. Then I would not have been able to leverage credit. And I really wish someone told me that beforehand to really learn how to maximize it ahead of time. And this is why I'm sharing with you, because if you come across similar experience, and I'm not telling you to just keep getting 0% APR credit cards for the first 12 months, 24 months, just for the sake. You got to make sure you can apply it for something that you know is going to bring you back some potential return. And for me, investing in repairing my home is an actual investment. You're going to get that return because you have people renting from you, etc., right? But if it's just for leisure, like you're just going shopping, there's no really return on investment. But if it's for your business, I can see how that applies, because the real estate as well is considered a business when you're renting. So once we got through that stage, right, he did some jobs, but after that layoff, I really couldn't do much. So luckily, I just made the monthly minimum payments on that credit card. I also had the Home Depot supplies I purchased, made the monthly payments because I'm still in promotional period. Best Buy, I don't think I had anything open with them at the time, but Lowe's I did, because a lot of electrical stuff came from between Home Depot and Lowe's and his labor, and that was pretty much it. So I pretty much was able to just do that until I was able to get back on my feet and get some things going. My cash that I did have money saved up, probably around, in that particular account that I was using for cash transactions, $25,000. That's not including retirement, IRA, and additional investment accounts that I had. This is purely like an account that I had, which I mixed investments in it sometimes and such, but that was what I was able to have to be able to use in order for me to keep functioning, things for the house, things for my daily living that I needed to actually be able to do. So I was so unsure at that time, and a lot of things was going through my head. But what I did was I was like, you know what? I'm going to put it into some investments. So I did purchase some stocks that kind of shot up furthermore that year. As we know, 2021 was a great year for a lot of stocks and crypto. I bought a lot of Doge, and it flipped like 5x. I put it in like 20,000 and flipped 5x to about 100,000 in a matter of a few months. But if I had used my own cash to do those works and repairs, I would not have the opportunity to be able to do that. And I wish someone gave me that insight, right? I had to learn at the heat of the moment to figure out what to do. But this is a wisdom that God had put into my brains and allow it to actually be applicable. And this is why I constantly encourage building a relationship with God, so that way whenever you get into intense moments like that, you have that flash of wisdom that comes up to you, inspired from God. So that was when I realized that, wow, you use your cash, you keep investing your cash, but you use the credit to do the actual work that you need to do. And then when the investments just grow, you're able to pay back that credit. I had enough. Like the returns were so big that I had enough to pay it off all at once. But you don't do that as well. Pay whatever you need to pay. So whatever minimal balance that you need to pay, that's what you do. Or what you could do is equal balance as well. So for example, if you owe $5,000 and you know the monthly payments is $100 a month for 12 months. So what you could do is take the $5,000 divided by 12. That's about like $400 and change, and you make that monthly payment across, so it's consistent across the board, that you're not behind. Because what's gonna happen is if you make the minimal monthly payments from month 1 to 11, on month 12, all of that is gonna be due, and you're going to try to crunch it and pay it all at once. So it's a lesser burden if you do that equal payments, even though they give you the option of doing that. That's why when I'm with shopping like with Amazon, they have the option of the special financing or the 6 months, 12 month equal payments. I always go for the equal payments because that way I can spread it across consistently. But if you were in a situation like me where you know you had to do this renovation, you was out of work, and you had to get it done now, the special financing would actually work better, because you could have made the monthly payment from month 1, 2, and then let's say you got your job back or another employment, a source of income started coming in on month 3, then you're able to catch up to those, right? So those are the tactics I pretty much used at the time in order for me to really overcome that burden. To where I'm at now, where that's exactly what I'm doing. It's like I open a card when I know I got to do something that's going to bring me back some type of return. hold my cash, put it into the market, invest it, or have it ready for something else just in case. And then it grows, so when it's time for you to pay back those credits, the investment has grown and you're able to use the increase, the gains that you got from those to apply it to the credit. Therefore, it costs you pretty much nothing. And this is that wealth building cycle that we constantly go into. And to take it a little step further, I incorporated my business last year. I had another business incorporated many years ago, but this particular one is for my main domain, which is designing softwares. So let me tell you, it opened up a whole new world. When it comes to business credit, it is totally separate from your personal. Right now, I just opened a $20,000 business credit line with Wells Fargo, and they give you less months, right? It's not 12 months with business credits. They give you 9 months actually. So what I'm doing on month 1 through 7, making the monthly little payments of $100. Right now, I think I've used about 9,000, close to, actually less than that, 8,000 out of that. And it does not affect my personal credit. My personal credit is almost 800. Like, if this was applied on my personal credit, it probably would have dropped down to like 720 or 730, because the $20,000 limit that they give you, I'll be using about half of it, and that hurts your credit. Like, the more percentage of your credit line that you're using, the more hurts your credit. I'm sure my business credit, of course, is getting a little dent right now, but guess what? Same way when I was going through that thing, I had gotten that 12-month promotional free 12 months with Bank of America. As soon as I paid that off, my credit went up by like 50 points, right? It's the same way this is gonna most likely happen as well on the business side. So when you pay like certain cards off, typically your score goes up pretty dramatically, right? Because you pay down a balance that went from whatever it went to 0, right? This is where your credit really shines. So right now my business credit is being utilized instead of my personal for this promotional period, and I'm gonna keep rent cycle and repeat over and over. And I'm using the business credit line not really for personal stuff. The way you got to think about it is your business is bringing in money, right? So the business money is there, and then if you're dispersing it to yourself right away, that's considered like you're paying yourself right away. So that's how I'm looking at it. So it's like I'm using the cash from the business to pay myself and using the business credit card to process the transactions to keep the business running, rather than using the business cash that is set aside. I'm paying myself off and using the business credit in order for me to do other transactions. And these are the stuff that I wish someone taught me. And I'm really diving into it further, more and more. Right now, I'm in the process of trying to get an SBA loan. And it's the same way. You got to think about it, right? They typically try to tell you stick to using those loans for your business, which is what I'm going to be doing, right? But I'm going to be pulling cash out of my business for my personal side and using the business credit in order for me to do things for my business and keep it running. And the cash that I have, transfer to my personal, invest it, let that grow, and then I can use that to pay the balance on the business card. Because your personal, you can do whatever you want to do, however you want to do. They do tell you to keep them distinguished and separate. It's just for the state where I'm at right now. I'm still growing. I'm still nurturing. I'm mingling it a little bit. I do have them separate, of course. Like, I have separate business bank account and personal bank accounts. Right now, the business cash is sitting in a business cash. But being able to leverage all these things is just amazing to me when it comes to wealth building. The simple of the matter fact is this. Like, if you got nothing from this video, what I want you to take away is whenever you have the cash, try to invest your cash or have it aside as emergency purposes. When it comes to the credit line, use the credit to actually do the transactions for your business and take advantage of those 0% intro APR things. So if you had $10,000, instead of you going and spend it on something and be like, oh yeah, I'm debt free, have your $10,000 because you know you can pay the card off. But open that $10,000 card, 0% interest free for the time period that's being. You're in case something happens, you still have the cash to be able to pay it off right away, but you're using the business credit. Not only is it growing your score, so that way you are able to get bigger lines in the future right? But you're not using your own cash. You still have your own cash to do other things as you need to. But be very careful. Speak to your financial advisor. This is not me giving you financial advice. You got to kind of calculate your own situation, see where you're at, and how well you can manage those transactions and situations, because some people, they can't handle it, right? They'll get 0% interest APR cards, and then they'll get another one, and they'll get another one. Next thing you know, you have all these cards, but you cannot pay it off because you don't have the income, the cash flow to keep sustaining it. Don't get the card amount that you know you don't have the cash for already. So if you know you have like 20,000 of cash available, then of course it's okay for you to get a $20,000 card, because you know in case anything happens, you're able to pay it off. But be very do your own due diligence, of course. Speak to your financial advisor and do your own analysis on what you think works for you, whatever you're more comfortable with. So that's all I really wanted to share with you, because it's something that I think really we're not taught about, and it really can help us grow our wealth even more. Because this like thing right here, like, it not only applies to the cars but also the home. Like for me, I now have the option of taking my equity using something called a HELOC, and I now qualify with this bank for $140,000 or more, right, to be able to have that cash completely. Like, I'm pulling equity of my home and I'm paying zero taxes on it. If I was selling my home, I'll be paying taxes on it because I'd have more than $250,000 of capital gains, etc. But instead of me going through that whole complication, I don't trigger a tax event, take the HELOC, I have $140,000. Of course, the separate payment that I have to do on a monthly basis was around like $800 for like I believe 20 or 25 years that they gave me. But it's not bad. But I would have $140,000, put it down on another property that would bring me back some more income. Not only would it offset that $800 a month that I would have to pay, but it would also bring me an income. And this is where you utilize more of credit, right? It's a form of credit, but those things apply in so many different ways. You could do that for against your business, against your assets. Like I know wealth management companies like Morgan Stanley, they have the ability to allow their clients to lend from their stocks, and you are able to do this from certain crypto exchanges as well. And I know there are programs that let you borrow from your wallet, but those are things that you can look into. But of course, don't do anything that you feel like you cannot handle. Start slow, start small, see how you could do it a small amount, and then pay that back. Rinse, cycle, and repeat, and pay that back until you'll be able to grow more, further and further. Like, I didn't start off with 30,000 right off the back, right? I started with 5 with most of these stores. Now, my Best Buy, Home Depot, Lowe's, they all give me like super huge amount of credit limits because I've built that relationship with them. So that's what I really hope that you take away from all this. So if you found this insightful, give this a thumbs up so other people can learn more about this too. Share, subscribe, of course, so that way we can stay in touch. And if you have any questions for me, drop it in the comments below. You can always email me, right? That's hustle@luxtreaux.com. You can check out the website as well. That's hustle.luxtreaux.com, or email me at hustle@luxtreaux.com. Peace and love. Trust in Jesus. Have an amazing one.